well, in deep tech, because it does take so long, or especially because it does take so long, people are very, I would say cautious about IP. How did you navigate, that when you're trying to bring folks in front of partners?
By teaching them to be less cautious about IP. I mean, honestly, at the stage where we were funding a lot of these companies, yeah, there was probably some university IP that they were licensing, but as these companies evolve, that the intellectual property portfolio changes quite a bit, and these things are so hard that no one is going to steal your idea and go off and do it. Like, I mean, okay, maybe once, I don't know, but that is not the challenge. The challenge is really for you to convince others that there's value there. And at the stage of life that these companies were in, no one's really going to see that value until they get much further along in their development. So I think one of the earliest and most compelling things that we were trying to teach our entrepreneurs is to be less paranoid. And I mean, there are things you want to secure, but talking to a potential corporate partner about your technology, there's just no way they're going to steal it at that phase of life and go do it. They are looking for mature technologies. That's part of the broken pipeline between academia and big corporates, which startups fulfill, is that they take that technology readiness level to a point where corporates are willing to jump in and partner or adopt.
So on the flip side of that equation, I was at a deep tech conference last year, and there was somebody who was from a mining company and talking about how they partner with startups. And he was saying, we get so many requests for folks to try to test out some new technology, on our site. But at the same time, and then he gave some, incredible figures of how much earth that they were moving and just how disruptive it is to try to cater to any, one specific startup that might be disrupting their, finely tuned logistics. And so he said, we get requests, we have more requests than we know what to deal with, and frankly, it's really hard for us to figure out how to partner with these startups. So, yeah, how did you solve for the other part of that equation, where you convinced these busy executives who are maybe managing portfolios with billions of dollars of revenue to pay attention and spend time with these startups?
Well, a lot of the corporates did, and I think still do, have these sort of chief innovation officers or scouts or people that go out into the world, and those are the people that we typically interact with. But I think you're touching on a very important point, which is that a lot of startups think they understand the problem that they're solving, but actually don't. And that journey of iteration, of going and talking to the corporates and realizing exactly what challenges those corporates are facing, exactly how their infrastructure is set up and where you can slot in, does take time for technical founders that don't come out of those industries. I mean, it's really exciting when you get a technical founder that comes out of that industry and says, look, I know exactly how this supply chain is set up, I know exactly how this process happens, and I know where there's pain points and where we can solve them. But typically, if you're getting like a PhD out of a university lab and they say, I have a new, chemistry to build whatever it is, industrializing that and learning what that takes and what will be adopted and what won't is one of the key learning processes that a lot of deep tech founders have to go through. And it is slow because, as you say, the folks that are actually running the plants are not the people that are out in the world engaging with the startups, and they don't want to share necessarily their secret pain points until you get relatively deep into these relationships.